All right, thanks, guys. I reminded everybody in my original upload today for the NBA picks that we are currently 3-0 in our last three daily best plays on patreon.com/Brock Page. Link for that site is in the description section below. So if you want to get linked up with that site, really good value, really good price, a lot of information there. And begins at just $1.99 per month. So once again, that is my website. Patreon.com/Brock Page. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right. We got ourselves a pretty significant slate of smaller school basketball. We only have one game listed for today on our big screen behind me, but we do have a lot of action here within the smaller schools. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I'm actually going to start with the one game that is on the board, and that's going to be Boston University taking on Loyola. That's Loyola, Maryland, for those listening to the podcast. And that's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off at Loyola. Now, Boston U, they are the 3.5-point favorite on the road, total at 143 and a hook. We did see a half a point move toward Boston U, and movement upward on the total. Boston opened 3 up to -3.5. Total open 143 up to 143 and a hook. Right now, Loyola is plus $1.60 at home. Now, if you like Loyola in this matchup here, they are 3-1 against the spread, taking on teams between 500 and 650. And of course, when I refer to those numbers, I'm referring to a win percentage. So once again, Loyola 3-1 against the spread, taking on teams between 500 and 650. They're also covering 60% of their games at home. Andrew Kostecka, 21 points a game, 5 rebounds and 2 steals. This guy's having a great season. And Cameron Spencer, he's averaging 10 points and 4 assists for Loyola. Now Boston on the other side, they failed to cover the point spread in their last 4 games that tipped off at the current point spread. 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games that tipped off at the current posted point spread. They're also 0-3 against the spread in their games as the official road favorite, and they failed to cover the point spread in 7 out of their last 10 games away from home. Now, total-wise, Boston U is 71% to the over, taking on teams allowing more than 72 points per contest. Meanwhile, Loyola on the other side, 60%. Loyola 60% to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean Loyola, Maryland, plus 3.5 at home, and the over 143.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our smaller schools. Our next matchup is Morgan State taking on Bethune-Cookman, and that's going to be a 7:30 Eastern tip-off in that game. Bethune-Cookman, they are -5, total at 149. We saw a half a point fade of BCU and movement downward on the total. Bethune-Cookman open 5.5 down to -5. Total open 151.5 down to 149. And at the moment, Morgan State is plus 205 on the money line. Now, Morgan State's 5-1 against the spread after 4 or less days off between games. They're also hitting at 60% against the spread, taking on teams under 500. Stanley Davis is averaging 14 points a game, 6 rebounds for Morgan State. Sherwin Prince, 11 points a game, 3 rebounds. And Troy Baxter, 11 points a game, 6 rebounds for Morgan State. Now, BCU on the other side, they're covering just 44% of their games, taking on teams under 500 as well. And when it comes to the total, BCU is 4-0 to the over in their last 4 games, where the line was 145 or more. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward another underdog. Give me Morgan State plus 5 and the over 149 in that game. Next matchup, NCAA. That's right, North Carolina A&T taking on Delaware State, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. NCAA open 6.5, now down to -6. Total open 146.5 up to 147 and a hook. Right now, Delaware State, they are covering 60% of their games at home. They're also 3-2 against the spread as the official home underdog. John Crosby, he's averaging 22 points per contest for Delaware State. Amir Bennett, 12 points a game, 7 rebounds. And Lance Singh, 10 points a game for the Hornets. I think they're the Hornets, Delaware State Hornets. But anyway, NCAA on the other side, they've successfully covered the point spread in just 5 out of their last 12 games away from home. Now, total-wise, NCAA, they're 80% to the over, taking on teams allowing more than 72 points per contest. Meanwhile, Delaware State 8-4 to the over in their last 12. I'm going to lean toward another underdog. Give me Delaware State +6 and the over 147.5 in that contest. Next game, Coppin State taking on Florida A&M. 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that matchup there. Florida A&M opened as the 4.5-point favorite, down to -3.5. Total open 145, up to 145 and a hook. Right now, Coppin State is +160 on the money line. They're also 9-5 against the spread when traveling. They're covering 65% of their games as the official Vegas underdog. Kamar McKnight, 15 points a game, 3 rebounds for Coppin State. And Andrew Robinson, 12 points a game, 5 rebounds as well. Now, Coppin State is 71% to the over when the line was 145 or higher. I'm going to lean toward another underdog. Give me Coppin State +3.5 and the over 145.5 in that game. All right. Before we go ahead and move on, I just want to take a quick time out and once again welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Monday's college basketball action, but before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we do daily premium sports picks on that website, beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. You may be wondering, why would I buy a package when you're giving me all the picks for free right here on YouTube? And, that's an interesting thought. We do give out free plays here on YouTube, but what we do on Patreon is, we really narrow it down and focus on 3 to 4 premium high percentage selections per game. I am not betting every single game on the board, so it doesn't matter what I give you here on YouTube. I'm not betting every game. I'm not betting every one of those picks. So Patreon gives you some insight as to what I'm actually betting on, what I'm actually playing. And once again, Patreon offers you 3 to 4 premium sports picks per day, high percentage picks, games that I personally have action on, bet right on my mobile app. Always have my mobile app on me. And I switched providers last week. I went from a provider who is really focusing heavily on Bitcoin, and now I am doing all of my betting within the United States. So anyway, check out my current record on Patreon right now. You can do it for free. It's right on the homepage. It's patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. I got 3 more games left for you, so let's go ahead and dive into them. My next matchup is Grambling taking on Alcorn State, 8:30 Eastern tip-off. Grambling opened 3, up to 3.5. Total open 141.5, down to 141. Right now, Grambling is plus $1.55 on the money line. Now, Alcorn State, they're led by Corey Tillery, who's averaging 13 points a game, 4 rebounds. Maurice Howard, he's actually averaging 16 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. And Troyman Crosby, 12 points a game, 5 rebounds for Alcorn State. Now, they are 70% to the over overall for the year. So, once again, I'm going to lean toward another underdog. This time, I'm leaning toward Alcorn State, plus 3.5, and the over 141 in that game. All right. Next game, Arkansas Pine Bluff taking on Alabama State, 8:30 Eastern tip-off. Arkansas Pine Bluff opened 6, up to -6.5. Total open 124.5, up to 125. Pine Bluff is plus 265 on the money line. They're also just 5-8 against the spread in their last 13 road games. They're covering just 33% of their games as the official Vegas underdog. Arkansas Pine Bluff is 10-3 to the under when traveling. They're also 6-1 to the under when the line was 132 or less. So with all that said and done, you guessed it, another underdog for me. I mean, this is completely uncanny because I'm pretty square. I'm pretty chalky normally. But I'm leaning toward another dog. Give me Alabama State plus 6.5 and the under 125 in that game. And I'm going to slide my next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Portland State taking on Montana. 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game. Montana opened 6, up to -6.5. Total open 143, up to 144. Portland State's plus 265 on the money line. They're also 8-3 against the spread on the road. 78% against the spread as the official Vegas underdog. Holland Woods is averaging 18 points a game, 6 assists, and 2 steals for Portland State. Matt Hauser, 15 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals. Portland State's 4-1 against the spread, taking on teams between 500 and 650. Now, total-wise, 7 out of Portland State's last 11 road games did get over the total. Meanwhile, Montana, 4-3 to the over, taking on teams averaging more than 72 points per contest. I'm going to lean toward another underdog, a clean sweep of dogs tonight. It is going to be feast or famine. Give me Portland State plus 6.5 and the over 144 in that game.